it's Erica, and this is my Ignite Me review. Ignite Me is the third and final book in the Shatter Me trilogy. This review is going to be spoilery, so if you haven't read this final book or any of the previous books, I suggest you come back and watch this video when you've read the whole trilogy. The final book in this trilogy was phenomenal. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, and it definitely deserves this. The final book opens up right after the war that Anderson waged against Omega Point and the world. Most of the people in the world are dead, and there are only 9 Omega Point survivors. At first, Juliet isn't sure who's alive or who's dead, but she eventually finds out that both Adam and Kenji are alive, and she finds other survivors when Warner takes her back to Omega Point. At the beginning of his book, everyone wants to get back at Warner because they believe that he, by association, started this war against Omega Point, and they all want him dead. Juliet doesn't like this because she's now in love with Warner, and she doesn't want anything to happen to him. Warner comes to Omega Point and tells everyone that his father, not he, started this war. And he wants to get back at his father. The characters in this book, as well as Juliet, all decide to band together with Warner and fight against the reestablishment to hopefully overthrow it. Everyone seems to agree with this plan except Adam. Adam, in his book, treats Juliet like crap in the beginning. He says that Warner can't be trusted, and he thinks that Juliet is really foolish to trust him. Juliet, on the other hand, explains to Adam that she's not the same person that she was before, and since she almost died at the end of the last book, she says she's changed, and she wants to fight back against the reestablishment to have a better future for not only herself, but for everyone. Adam says that when he initially escaped from the reestablishment with Juliet, he never had intentions of fighting back against them. He only fled the reestablishment so that he can have a future together with her. Juliet and Adam officially break up at the beginning of this book because Juliet is surprised that he's being a jerk and she doesn't like the way he's acting at all. As a result, Adam goes away from the group and just wants to live in his home with James and doesn't want to have anything to do with this plan. Even though this is the last book in the trilogy, we learn some surprising revelations about Juliet's ability once again. Since she's training again really hard in this book to somehow overthrow the reestablishment, she finally learns how to master her ability entirely. This means that she can shut it off at any time if she needs to, which means that she can touch anyone with her skin without harming them. Some things surprised me about this book. I didn't expect Juliet to be able to touch anyone she wanted at the end of this trilogy. That came as a surprise. But I was also concerned about Castle. Castle was really depressed after the war and wasn't really handling it well, but he eventually came around. What also surprised me is that Adam eventually came around, not because that he was okay with overtaking the reestablishment, but because he was dying in his home and couldn't really find food or things for him and Jane to survive. That's why he eventually came to the reestablishment and fought for their cause, because he wanted a better life for James. Another shocking revelation in this book is that for a long time, Juliet never told Warner that Adam was his brother. Warner had to find out that he was Adam's brother on his own. The last thing that surprised me about this book is that Adam started having a crush or a little bit of a romance with a girl named Aaliyah in this book. And Juliet is happy about this because she genuinely wants Adam to be happy. Juliet and everyone in the book realized that since they succeeded in killing Anderson and overthrowing the reestablishment, Juliet realized there would be many wars to come in the future. I liked Juliet's character, her growth in this trilogy. In the first book, we saw that she was a very shattered and fragile person. And in the second book, we saw her being conflicted between Adam and Warner. And by the end of this third book, since she had almost died in the previous book, throughout this last book she became a strong, confident person who's ready to let herself live life to the fullest instead of being trapped in her mind and being afraid of her insecurities. Even so, I didn't expect her to lead an entire nation after this first war was over. That kind of surprised me. I assumed that Juliet and Warner would be leading the nation together. Kenji and Juliet continued their friendly banter in his book, which I appreciated. I thought it was really funny. Kenji displayed courage when he wanted to stick by Juliet and stick with Warner when it came to fighting back against the reestablishment. But he also showed his true friendship when he would periodically go back to Adam's home and check on him and James and see how things were going for them. Kenji sort of arranged for Adam and James to come to Warner's private training facilities so that they could survive and be okay. Kenji made up a story and told Adam that Juliet was still in love with him and wanted to work on their relationship. This is obviously a lie. The fact that he had to come up with a story I thought was really funny. I thought this was really nice of Kenji to look out for Adam and James since he still really cared about them. That's all for my review on Ignite Me. I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye!